everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video. We got more cards to review. We have Priest and Warlock. They have been revealed as Warlock. Gonna break wild again with miniset cards. They haven't done that in a little bit. They've taken a break from breaking wild, and well, we'll take a look at the cards. Maybe they will. They probably won't, spoiler alert. And we'll also look at those dirty Priest cards and see if I get mad because, well, they're Priest. Anyways, if you want to win these cards golden, by the way, we have a giveaway going on for 4 golden minisets to celebrate 58,000 subscribers. All you have to do is like and comment in the video description below, subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 60K, so every 1,000 subs until then, so 59 and 60K itself, we're going to be doing a bigger and better giveaway. So hit that sub button, make me go broke, and let's take a look at these cards. We got 3 Warlock ones to start, starting off with a very sus card indeed, the Imposter, a 2-mana 1/1 demon. So like that's just like really bad stats, terrible. However, it has a battle cry. Who would have guessed that? Choose a friendly imp, you transform into a copy of it. It is rather sus. Good flavor and all of that. I just can't think of a world where this card is good. The average imp, at least in standard, is pretty bad. You can turn into like an imp gang boss, an amalgam, ooh. But I guess the idea is like you buff one up with like the location maybe, you buff it up with a bartender, shady bartender, or a fom, and then copy it. But I can't think of a situation where that is ever worth it, where you want to run this kind of whatever clunky dead card in your hand just to copy an imp. I just don't see it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is really good to like play the locations, get a giant imp, copy it with this and that's something. But overall, I just think it's a clever little play on words. It's a cool pun, but in standard, I gotta give it to 2. Like, I feel like the best case scenario, you're buffing out, like you're copying like a buffed up imp gang boss or something, but that's just not worth it to me. And in wild, you have Jumbo Imp. You got Jumbo Imp, and I think Rustwix, whatever the card is that shuffles primes into the deck, that's actually an imp. So I don't think it's a viable like competitive card in wild, but I think there's really cool memes. You could copy up, you know, a bunch of prime minions for relatively cheap, right? Because as long as it's an imp, my understanding was it was updated to be an imp. That's pretty cool. But other than that, I still don't see it being competitive. I just think it's too clunky, and the upside of copying an imp is just not enough to really warrant it. So I'm going to give it a 2 in wild too, but the memes are solid. I think people will have fun with those decks. I'm just saying from a competitive level, I don't think it's quite there yet, but let me know in the comments below how wrong I am. We also have hobbyists, corpses, dude. Like the puns, I swear it's all about puns, this mini set. 3-mana shadow spell, so Tamsman can copy this and all of that. You discover a friendly minion to resurrect, give it rush, it dies at the end of turn. This is a whole whack of weirdness. It's a resurrect card, right? You can resurrect. By the way, this art is sick. I want to see this golden. Enter that giveaway to win it golden, but sorry for the plug, but the artwork is phenomenal. I can't wait to use this in a thumbnail. Hopefully the card's playable. I don't know how good this is. Like, it's good if you're resurrecting a death rattle, right? You're resurrecting a death rattle, get its effect back, or just a big minion with an effect. You need something coming back with effect. The problem is it's a friendly minion to resurrect. Like, you can have other stuff dying. It's again a card that I don't really understand what you're playing. Plus it it dies at the end of the turn, so you really need it other than trading into something to get an extra effect. I guess it could be more owl support or like mine OTK support where you bring that stuff back. For me, it's a death rattle card for sure. I just don't know what it slots into. And again, if you're playing other token generators and stuff, you're risking not resurrecting what you want. You really need a select pool of cards. There is utility to this card. I just don't know where it slots into. But again, you have Tamsin synergy. You can discount this card as well with that card that came in the last expansion. It's like a 3/3 beast that can discount a shadow spell. You can make this cheap. I think it's 3 less. It could be 2 less. I don't know. You can make this 0 possibly. Again, I don't see this as like a real card. But again, it could be something that I'm just overlooking because it's a weird one, right? It's a very interesting and odd card. Again, I'm going to give this a 2 in standard, and in wild, where you do have the death rattle stuff even more so, still probably going to give it a 2. And yeah, giving a Mine Rush is probably not great at 0 attack as well. It's an interesting card. It's one that will pop up in some kind of niche deck at some point and be good, I think, but I don't think it's one of those obvious like slam dunk cards. And then we have, I'll move my stupid face over here. We have, this card seems pretty solid. Arson, Accusation, a 2 mana fire spell. You choose a minion, destroy it after your hero takes damage. So you couple this with a life tap. It is a 4 mana assassinate, draw card, take 2 damage. In wild, you play this with Raise Dead. It's 2 mana, kill something. Or you can just select a minion on the board and pass your turn. And once your opponent hits you and you take damage, the minion will die. It doesn't have to happen on your turn. It's solid removal, and also in wild, in even lock, where you have 1 mana life tap, it's pretty efficient removal, to be honest with you. I think this card can see play. It's cheap removal that you can influence. You have like the Flame Imps of the world. You have self-damaging effects. Again, I think in wild there's a lot more options with Kobold Librarian as well. I think it's decent. I think it sees play. I don't know where, but it isn't a shadow spell, so it's not quite as flexible with a Tamsman and all of that. But maybe you're going for multicaster vibes. I don't know. But I'm going to give this a 3 in standard and wild. I think you could run this as like a 1-of in a Reno deck. It could go into Pain Warlock, where you're always self-damaging anyways. And you can kill off your own stuff if that's ever relevant. It's a solid card. It's cheap, efficient, and Warlock likes the self-damaging stuff. So yeah, I think it's a good card, and I'm going to give it a 3 in standard and wild. And now we have those dirty priest cards, starting off with the holy spell, Clear Conscience. I won't have a clear conscience if I'm playing priest. Sorry, I actually have over 4,000 priest wins. Why am I always being me like this? Anyways, 3 mana holy spell, give a friendly minion +2/+3, so 1 mana above the curve for that. We've seen that with like Mark of Nature and the Biscuit for Hunter. Only you can target this with spells and hero powers, so you're effectively giving your own immune, elusive like a fairy dragon, you know, the jailer on all minions, but you can target it. We've seen this effect, I believe, twice. There was a 4-drop. It was a 4 mana 3/3, like weird, just like epic. I think it was like a horse style thing. Never saw play. And then the priest prime minion was 7 mana 6/8 lifesteal taunt. I think that you could give that. It's not immune, so it's not quite the same as the jailer, but you can't target it. And yeah, you can put this on whatever, and maybe this goes into that boon priest archetype where you can slap this on that giant taunt and they can never target it and not really be able to kill it. It being 3 mana for a buff spell in priest where they're wanting to run like 1 0 mana. Typically the only one that costs more than 1 mana is Bless, because it kills your opponent, and then also the 4 mana boon because it creates a giant threat. It could go into that. It could be in that like that scam Bless Priest. It could go into a Wig Priest, just create this untargetable thing and just kill your opponent with it. And that's kind of like the objective of that deck right now in Boon Priest, to create that giant thing and kill your opponent with it. I just don't know if it slots in there, but it does make me worry. It's a little bit scary. It's a lot of, you know, it's a decent amount of stats. Obviously it's a bit overcosted, but the effect of not being able to target is a pretty big deal. I'm gonna give this a 3 in standard. I think it can slot into that, like that Blessed Priest, but in wild, I think you're just going Divine Spirit, Inner Fire. You're trying to kill in one quick shot. You're not trying to really worry about stuff sticking around that much. I don't know how relevant it is in wild. I'll give it a 2, but it could pop up there. I think it's a very good card, a very good holy spell at that. And we finally got a dragon. I don't think there was one dragon in the latest expansion, but Priest has got one. It is a 4 mana 2/6 taunt. This stat line historically not been very good, not been very impactful, but it does have Death Rattle. Copy a random card from your opponent's hand, so some thief support. Not super exciting, not super overwhelming. You got hero card synergy with it with Zarella. You can get some value on that. You can bring it back with your amulet, and it's a taunt to bring back with amulet, which is relevant, but it's just value. you know, you can use your Harvester of Envy to use that value to steal it from your opponent or delete it from their deck, but it is, you know, random. There's no discover element of it, which to me, like identity theft and all that, really powerful. Way more powerful than I originally thought. I don't think this sees play in the current standard Wild metagame, but those Reno priests have been really greedy in Wild, so they might want to just throw this in there just to be extra greedy. I don't know. I'm going to give this a 2 out of 5 in standard and Wild. It's a cool dragon. I think it's a fun card. People will have fun playing because random cards, you never know what's going to happen with what you steal. I just don't think from a competitive level in standard Wild it'll make the cut, just because that stat line isn't great and you're just getting value, which Priest doesn't really struggle with in getting. There's a lot of other steal effects that are a little bit more efficient, a little bit more reliable in my opinion. So 2 out of 5 in standard Wild, but one I could see popping up as like one ofs, or especially in like Highlander decks in Wild. And then the last card we have to go over is the Theft Accusation. 1 mana shadow spell, so some Dark Bishop Benedicta support. You choose a minion. You destroy it after you play a card copied from the opponent. So more Thief Priest support, and it's just really cheap removal as long as you have any Burgle card. It doesn't matter what the card is that you copied from them. As long as it's anything, you play this, you play that card, you kill something. Is that good? It's pretty solid. It's a shadow spell. There's synergies with that. Multicaster, blah, blah, blah. Dark Bishop Benedictus, blah, blah, blah. But overall, 1 mana kill anything as long as you have a Burgle card. If you're playing a Thief Priest deck, which there's a top tier Thief Priest deck in Standard, there's a top tier Thief Priest in Wild, in Reno Thief Priest, I don't see why you would not run this. It's just efficient, cheap removal. You're playing burgled cards anyway, and you're likely going to have some cheap throwaway ones. This might actually make like a card you don't even care about playable for you because you can combo with this, but it's not necessarily like 1 mana kill something. You got to play something else with it, so it's not quite that ridiculous. You're gonna have to probably average like a 2 or 3, 4 cost card, but you get to pick that. So I think Thief Priest decks will play it, but I think it's only good in those archetypes. Obviously you're not going to play it in anything else, right? I will give this a 4 out of 5 in standard Wild for those archetypes. Like, I just don't see why you don't play it. It's not a broken, insanely busted card, just a really good card that you could put in there. You got the Light It Burns though, which kind of does the same thing, and also just you don't have to set it up, but you know how things can mess that up. So Light It Burns to me is more like a 5-star card now. This would be like 4. It's some added redundancy, but it's a little, maybe a little bit better in certain situations. Anyways, those are the cards for now. We'll have more tomorrow. Check out the reviews then, and if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.